So there it is, 4:30. Let's get started. So welcome everyone. It's the Arts and Lambton Kent District School Board. I'm being joined from educators from around our district today to focus in on what's been happening in the arts when we are learning during this time of the pandemic, COVID, and how things have changed, how we've adapted. And we're going to hear some honest reflections on things, what's been challenging this year and how we've had to, turn, pivot, spin, whatever, become more dramatic, whatever it is to with our learning this year. So we'll do introductions in just a second, but I thought we'd start with our land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that the Chippewa, Odawa, Potawatomi, known as the Anishbeg, and the Delaware, known as Lenape, inhabited these lands at the time of the written treaties, these being Treaty 7, Treaty number 2, and Treaty number 29. These indigenous nations, known as the Anishbeg and the Lenape, agreed through their ancestral languages to the mutual sharing of the land with obligations and responsibilities to the environment. So today we welcome some educators from our own system who have a passion for the arts, and I'm so happy to have them sharing their perspectives and their content with you. They have lots of things to share. It's been, personally, it's been a great time just connecting with you in the planning part. So I'm really happy now we actually get out to share what you've been doing with your students. So we have Allison Saunders from Sir John Moore, Lisa Rankin from Dresden, Alicia Wyville from East Lambton, and Pam Glunt from Elementary Program Team. Matt Sanders may be joining us a little later, and Angela Cote is with us. She's on the call. She is going to run the chat for us today. So I think we're getting pretty good at this, but Angela will be there if you have something in the chat. She can put our attention, answer some questions, that sort of thing there. So,
and I think they have the option to unmute as well, right, Pam?
Absolutely.
If they prefer, like, you're welcome to just jump in and ask your question by unmuting, but if you're more comfortable with the chat, put it in there and I will bring it forward.
It is the arts. It is drama, dance, music, visual arts. This could be your big break. I was watching on TikTok this week, and they were talking about, why do people say it's, break a leg? Because they want you to be in the cast.
I love it.
I was like, oh, I don't know if that's true, but it's a good joke.
Good.
So we will be sharing resources today. We'll just need a couple of days to pull it all together. And where we have been sharing our resources for professional learning have been on the elementary program blog that we have. And so what will be there will be, if you connect through to the elementary program blog, we will have the recording of this session. So that will be coming soon, as soon as we render it and make sure we protect student privacy, that sort of thing. And if you're looking for a advanced copy of that, you'll be able to get it on our LKDSB Zoom PD through YouTube. And if you subscribe to that, you'll be made aware of any new videos that happen. So that's where they go first, and then we kind of package them up and put them on the blog. So if you have some ideas that you want to revisit, that's the best place to go to get them. And our participants today will be sharing their content. So that's where you'll find links to a Google folder that we'll be sharing with links and examples and everything there. So we're going to be talking about the arts today. So we're talking about music, visual arts, drama, dance, and it's reflections from these teachers here that talk about that. So maybe we'll go around. And so Allison, do you want to tell us a word or two about yourself, where you come from, and what?
Sure, yes. I teach at Sir John Moore. I'm a core French and French immersion prep teacher. So usually each year I have a plethora of different subjects that I teach. This year, I've been very lucky to be able to teach 2 kindergarten classes in FDK. So some of the resources I'll be showing you are from music and dance. And I guess that's about it.
Awesome. And Angela is our French consultant. So we've been talking about the role of French language when talking with the arts too. And it's really exciting to see that we have the arts, the opportunity for that conversation back and forth.
bringing in the culture and authentic conversations, right? It's such a, especially with this year with our switch from our language of instruction, right? That the arts is now in French. In the past, it wasn't for our grade 3 upward. So it is an exciting time to be part of this and just using the language in authentic ways.
Miss Wyville, I've been connected to your family for a long time. Your dad always made me smile and laugh. So that's my
Well,
personal connection
I
to it,
never
but-
do that.
No.
Not a thing I do.
Yeah.
I am currently at East Lampton, and I teach FDK to grade 8. I teach all the arts, not all the arts for the school, but I teach at least one strand of every art, whether it's drama, dance, music, or visual art. A lot of what I'm going to be sharing today is visual art because I don't know, I just thought that that would be a place I could give some good feedback. And I am also sharing a little bit of dance and some techie stuff too, because I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to the tech. So there's a couple of little tech tidbits in there too.
Awesome, because I know you used to do learning comments, like was part of.
Oh, I still do.
Oh, you still do. So there's a blending. Yes.
Yes.
So
we seamlessly go
media
from one
arts.
to the other. Yeah.
There you go. And next we have Lisa from a little bit south of us here. From how are you?
Good, thank you very much. Yes, I'm at Dresden Area Central School. This is my 15th year there. My first year of teaching was in Dresden, and I don't know if I'll ever leave. I love it there.
Yeah.
And since I've been there, I've always had a medley of all arts. My background is drama. My undergraduate degree is in drama, and then I've learned a lot about dance and music and teaching visual arts as well. But mostly, I teach almost every kid 2 times a week for 40 minutes, and so I get their music, drama, and dance. And most of my stuff today is music that we'll be going over.
So we probably have in the audience some classroom teachers that might do one of the arts, and then they partner with, people like Allison, Alicia, and Lisa that do the other arts, or maybe you're the arts person at your school. And it seems to be, we have some opportunities where people can voice and say, I really love the arts. Is there a place for me in my school where I can take on maybe more of that? So these are times a year to have those conversations, I think, with our administration to say, like, what's next year starting to look like? But today I'm so excited to hear what your reflections are and what you're going to be sharing with us. And I think, and we just wanted, when we began our learning and conversation together, we did want to have the curriculum kind of ground our conversation. So as you hear from the educators today, we will be talking about creating and performing and what that looks across each of the 4 strands, reflecting and responding and analyzing, and exploring forms and cultural contexts. And so a lot of those things have kind of had to change a little bit because we are in a situation where we have increased health and safety measures in place to make sure we're healthy in our learning environments for our students and ourselves. And so that might meant less creating or performing or shifting how we create and perform. So we're so excited to hear your reflections. And Angela talked about, including the French as part of that cultural context. So as we think today too, how are we including the perspectives of Indigenous people in the arts? If we look at our school population, do we have students that are joining us from different countries? Like, are we including their and learning more about their cultural background? And then that reflecting, responding, and analyzing. That's why we still go to shows. We still want to talk about them. We still want to have memories of them. And we want to analyze them, which one was better. So we're helping kids develop that passion and love for the arts. Let's go along with that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and get Allison to do your screen so you can up first. And she's going to kind of take us through that, starting with the littles.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Host disabled participant screen shared. I think because I left and came back, am I able to get
screen sharing
capabilities again?
Yeah. Is Rod still there floating around, or maybe I can just share the.
You can,
No,
or Pam.
Oh, she's there.
I'm
Yeah,
on it.
Allison popped out and popped back in.
Yeah, I'm on it. She's got the ability to share right now.
There you go.
Thank
Oh.
you. Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, and
about
hi,
that.
Matt. We'll maybe we'll touch base after Allison's done her part. We'll say hello to you.
Okay, so, oopsies. Can you see my screen?
I can. There you go. You just need to present and you're good to go.
Yes, I will add though, after all the presentations last week, there were so many wonderful ideas that I feel like because I'm a French immersion prep teacher as well, there are ways that I could incorporate those ideas and turn them into French as well. So I do recommend looking at those because that was quite amazing. So to start, I have 2 FDK classes. We've done a lot of dance because they like to move. So when we went into remote learning, what we did was we did a couple of instructional dance videos. So one was for hip hop.
Okay, we've lost her sound there.
And we take from that and work on that.
You're cutting in and out a little bit, Allison. Hello, Allison. Maybe we'll put that in there.
Allison.
Hi, Allison. We're cutting. Your sound is cutting in and out on us. And we.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Now I can. Yep.
Okay, maybe I was a little. I tend to, maybe I just thought I was talking to myself again. Sorry. Can you hear me? Okay, good.
We've kind of missed your first slide there, though. We didn't hear your content.
Okay. So, yep, we'll be going over dances and the choreography that we've done with the FDK classes. The next will be music and some of the things that we've done in class for that. And the third one is school-wide tasks or events involving the arts. So I host a music club twice a week with students who want to participate. We also have an ongoing talent show. So students send me their videos and pictures of their talent, and it's usually dance, music, or visual arts. And then we also had the school assemblies too, and that was all virtual. So I'll just start with the dance here. I'm not sure if these videos will start, but these are some of the instructional videos that I used to create the choreography with the FDK students. The hip hop one is just awesome. So he takes you through it step by step. So we all learn that together. We started that when we had to go remote. So I would share my screen and I learned along with the students. And eventually we took pieces of each of that to put it together for a choreography. So maybe I'll just show you a couple of seconds of these videos here so you can get an idea.
And 5, 6, 7, 8, go 1, 2, 3, 4, make it big. 6, 7, 8, go back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, go hit, 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 up down, hit, 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 up down. Walk around 2, 3, 4, down. Wave and jump.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to the tutorial.
So he goes through each step by step and all of the counts for each dance move. And some of these, we took some of the ideas from different ballet lessons. So we followed through with some of these. So here's an example.
We are going to begin with our demi-pliés. Plié means to bend, and all ballet dancers have to practice their demi-pliés correctly. So let us look at our demi-plié exercise. So you'll start a little feet in first position like we just practiced, but we're going to have our arms in bras. So you're going to take 2 demi-pliés. So you have bend and stretch. Again, bend and stretch. Then you're going to.
Okay, so those are just some examples, and we started that with remote learning, and then we started to put our choreography together in remote learning, and then when we got to the classroom, we were able.
Oh,
We lost you again, Aunt Allison. It's nice to have the
Count up to 8. Can you hear me okay?
Now we lost you for a little bit there, but I was just thinking that it's nice to have a little sample video so you can kind of know if that's appropriate for your own class, right? Like what their ability to listen and learn and use something like that. So
Yes.
yeah, you're cutting in and out on us every once in a while.
Oh, am I? Okay. If yes, so
It's good
let me know if I have to log out, go into my other one, I can too. So these are just instrumental songs, and I find them really good for counting to 8. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and because oh no, sorry, my bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when you're dancing, it's easier. As you heard in the hip hop video, he starts with 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's how the students can also learn about rhythm in music, but they're doing that through movement. So I'm just going to skip ahead of this one here. Oops, because we actually use them for our dances. So in order for students to be able to be a safe distance apart, they are at their tables. They are required to stand and dance behind others. So that way they're all in their own space. So I'm going to go on to the next one here. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. And I have one more here. Hold on. Just a couple of classes. So these ones, they had permission. So this was done today. And yep, ready and go.
Is this choreography they are following or something they created? So cute.
Okay, so here's an example. I have some other examples as well, but those were the students that had permission for this today. So
Allison, was that was all, there was no words in that too. So is that from that violin piece?
Yes.
Slide before that. So that's interesting just to introduce another instrument, non-traditional to hip hop.
Yes, and it isn't with all, well, because FDK, they're very hands-on and it's good when they're active and learning. So those types of things incorporated does help with their education in music as well, and rhythm, because they both coincide.
Awesome. So looks like you're making something in this one here. We lost your sound. Yeah, there you go.
Did you lose me again? Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So we ended up making our own music box and adding instruments into it. So we did a little bit of decoupage in a shoebox, and then we made maracas out of water bottles, drums out of tin cans. So the parents did send these in. And then we are just finishing up our cardboard guitars. For the drums, it asks for you to put a balloon over it. Well, we decided not to, just in case there were any allergies. And we ended up just using Bristol board and glue gunning it around the top. And they were able to decorate it with tape and stickers. The maraca video, it asks for like a toilet paper roll to use as a handle. So instead, we just cut out strips of Bristol board and used tape to tape those around and fill them, and they were able to decorate those. The guitars that I have cut out for the students are not as complex as these ones. That one is 3 layers thick. Ours are only 2 layers thick. So I'll give you I'll show you what we've done here. Oh yeah, so those are our guitars. They were decorating them today. So next week, we will be adding rubber bands, and they asked to use nails to secure the yarn from the top to the bottom, but I think I'm going to find something else to secure those. So that's our next challenge, and the students will be able to then put their elastic bands from one nail to the next to have their guitars. So there's that one. Okay, so because we can't sing in class, and that's been a challenge. Through remote learning, we did do more singing, just because that was an opportunity for us at that time. But it is important for the students to understand the different notes. In French, you will still have the do, re, mi in English, but in French, instead of the note being C, it would be do. And if you notice, the second one before do at the end is actually C. That's how you would say it in French. So instead of T do, it would be C do. These also coincide with the bells that you hit down at the top. So I color coded that with it. And just added in the lines and the treble clef that there. And so we just go over that multiple times. Every once in a while I might do it 2 weeks in a row for music class, and they just have to follow along depending on which note they have in front of them. So I'll show you that one. So here are some instruments that we have used because I have 2 FDK classes. Usually you would wait about 48 hours before you would use them again with a different group. You want to make sure they sanitize before they use them and sanitize afterwards. And our FDK students are all sitting at tables together. So when I'm doing some rhythm lessons, they will share at their table. So they have to sanitize. They will have their instruments on their table. They get to try out different types of instruments and make sure there's like 1 drum at each table, 1 set of sticks, 1 maraca, and 1 tambourine or sand blocks. And then we study timing and rhythm together. I love the bells because
You were doing great. We lost you. Why do you love the bells?
We get these natural pauses built in, and I
Yeah.
think if her computer's just buffering, she'll be back in about 5
Yeah.
seconds if everything holds.
Okay.
C and C8, that's the high C. Okay. This one is solfege. So just the same thing, do, re, mi. Usually I would sing with the students to do that, but now we can either listen to a do, re, mi and do that, or just practice saying the names of the notes, and they can go along with that. While they were home for remote learning, this was one of their tasks. So I would sing it and show them the example, and then they would have to try it themselves and send it to me. In the classroom, obviously, we can't do that. So it's just another way that you can incorporate learning the notes.
Allison, when you were
yes.
doing the at-home learning, were you using Seesaw back and forth, or did you like?
For Google Meets.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I had Google Meets with my different classes, and oh yes, sorry about that. Yes,
Yeah.
I was doing Seesaw. So
Okay.
I created the tasks through Seesaw, but I would show it to them during our meet before, and we would
Awesome.
practice it. Yes, they go one at a time, and they liked doing it. They liked participating. I've also included, I have a bunch of different videos that I use to teach music that are in French. So I do have a list of those for anyone that's interested as well. So there's this one cat, his name's Fufu, and he teaches about different things. He has a couple of music videos, and then there's another one that has the same thing, solfège, for beginners to learn the different notes. This is just an example of around Christmas time for our virtual assembly. We learned how to play Jingle Bells as a group. And I ended up just getting them to chant the words and recording them play the different notes, and I compiled it all together. If you're interested in that, you can let me know.
Yeah, you were wowing me with what you can do with the technology piece. There might be some other people out there that are ready for that technological piece, like, you know, the mashup. So you're the person to contact.
Maybe, but there might be more out there that have some tricks as well, I think.
Yeah.
But if you're going to try it, now is the time. I feel. So this one here, I just do basic rhythm. And even when I'm trying to get the children's attention, doesn't matter what class we have that day, I always just clap my hands, ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, 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 ta, ta. So each one they have to repeat. By the time we go into music class, then they each try each line. Then we try both of them. And that's what we'll use the different percussive instruments with, but we also do clapping. And, you know, sometimes they'll take turns to show that they know it on their own. And then I try to get them to do it as a group. What my goal is for them, what I tell them is I said, I want to sound like one instrument all together. So we're not drumming like this. You know, a loud drummer isn't always a good drummer. If we're going to be in a band, we have to be able to play together so that we sound like one. So if you're successful, so maybe I'll start with, okay, we'll try it as a class, then each table will try it. And then I'll really, you know, praise the ones that it's like, could you tell that they were all doing the same rhythm, and try it as a class after that. So that's something that we do over and over and over and over again. Timing is a wonderful thing to explore, and it's very important in music, and it's a foundation for them developing further knowledge in the grades to come. So you can never do that enough times.
Yeah, it seems like the examples you've shared with us too, Allison, there's things that you've revisited over and over again with the class, like making the guitar, for example. That seemed, you wouldn't be able to do that in one session. And it'd be a good lesson for all of us just to slow down and go deep with focusing on one particular part of it.
Yes, bit by bit.
Mm-hmm.
And repetition.
Cornerstone of music.
Yeah. So I think this is my last one. This was, so I sent them the lyrics and the song for Brille, Brille, Petite Étoile on Seesaw, which is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star in French. And I had them do it, I think 3 weeks in a row. So I reassigned it and said, you did a great job. You were able to remember these first 2 words. Well, see if you can do more. And we'd practice together. There's also, so I find sometimes boom whackers are really hard to get a hold of. But there are the boom whacker play along songs. So we tried, I was unable to get them that day. So instead, we followed the boom whacker play along, and I had each table assigned to a note. So we'd put a little piece of paper with the note that they were and the color that it was. And that group had to clap along when their note was played. Also, we did another activity where they had to think of a little dance to do every time their note played. So then you would see the tables moving at different times to go along with the song. And I think that is it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Good ideas. We're going to toss it over to Alicia next. And so she's going to share her screen. Yeah. Maybe Alicia's getting set up. Hi, Matt. How are you?
All right.
I'm here.
Welcome. Glad you're joining us today. So
Thank you. Thank you.
So Alicia's going to share her stuff, and then Lisa, and then we got you slated for some screen time after that, if that's okay.
I'll be ready.
Thank you.
So clearly I was inspired by the BNL song, Teaching Arts in a Dangerous Time. And there's a lot of challenges that we are dealing with right now in teaching arts, no matter what it is that you're teaching. So I just had a few ideas I wanted to share about some things that I've done that have worked. And also acknowledging some of our challenges. So my portion, first we're going to talk about how awesome is Air Connect. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you're going to find out. Two, I had all of my magazines and cardboard thrown out and I can't share any materials. So what do? Teaching a diverse element of dance. It's super important to me. And so I've got a whole slideshow and way that you can move through in terms of that reflecting, analyzing piece when it comes to dance, and just some cool stuff I couldn't keep to myself. So first, I just want to—
You are a giver. We know that about you.
First, I just want to acknowledge some of the struggles when you're teaching visual arts, because I think a lot of the time we're focusing on like, music is really hard, and I fully recognize music is very hard right now. I tried singing outside in the fall with the children, and I was talking like this for like 2 weeks because our voices are not built for that. And I studied opera. So if I'm struggling with it, anyway, so visual arts, you can't share supplies class to class, which can be really difficult, especially if, like myself, you're used to being able to kind of do watercolors with 3 different classes, which lessens your cleanup and maybe some planning. You might have students in class and virtual. That's another challenge that we're dealing with right now. And the students are so far away, like physically, those kids at the back of the class, how are they able to see what I'm doing? So the first one, and that's going to help with the students so far away, is Air Connect. This connects your iPad to a dongle, to a desktop with no dongle. So it uses the Wi-Fi in the building, and it is the raddest thing ever because it uses the camera app with Air Connect to turn your iPad into a document camera. So what I have, because I'm a little maker who likes to repurpose things, is this like book stand, right? And I put my iPad on top of this book stand with Air Connect on, and the kids can see all the things that I'm doing below it. It will change your life, and it's free, and it's available on any computer. On the board has, it is a game changer. Read alouds, especially if you're a classroom teacher. I was just doing a read aloud this week from the Zoom session that we did with the K-2 music, where I was doing sloth at the Zoom. Well, there's all these little things in sloth at the Zoom that the kids can't see when they're 6 miles away from me and I'm reading at the front. But you'd pop Air Connect on the iPad, hold it above the book. I mean, who cares if it's a little bit wobbly? They're still seeing it better than they would if you were holding it up. And then you can sort of say, oh, look at this thing right here. Oh, what's that? What does that mean? And it just absolutely changes the game. Conclusion, you're welcome. I'm done. It's been nice.
I'm like, science experiments. What's happening?
Totally. And I mean, any manipulative, music and
Yes.
manipulative, math
Mhm.
manipulative. We can't have them up close. This will just make your life so much easier. So what you do is you ask your sysop to have Air Connect added to any computer you are going to be using with the smart board. So if it's a laptop, can we get it on the laptop? I'm in every class in my school. So every class has Air Connect. And let me tell you, another teacher sees you using it and they're going to be like, please teach me. And you have to get the app on your iPad. So honestly, if you take one thing away from this, get Air Connect.
I'm just thinking those constructions you make, like medieval castles or like ancient, and everybody wants to look at the same time about what you've made.
Yeah, and
Your
it's
construction
wonderful.
reader to that.
Yeah, and during art process, you can be like, oh, friends, look at what this friend has done here. Oh, look at what this friend has done here. And they can still get that sense of like, yeah, I know what I'm doing while the lesson is going on. Honestly, I messaged Pam on Sunday and was like, I have to talk about Air Connect. How have I only thought of this now? But for the arts, especially visual art, it really is super helpful. And so it's one of the, so I didn't use it with this one, but one of the things that I've had to do is think about using different supplies, maybe things that I haven't used before or things that I need to use in different ways. So I created this. I didn't create this. I'm a liar, cheat, and a fraud. I took the inspiration, and I give credit in the speaker's notes. I want to point out that I'm giving credit to, this is where the lesson comes from, but I have put it into a slideshow and given you the step-by-step of Alberto Giacometti sculptures using tinfoil. So first thing you do is create. So I do this so I present this. Let's just present this so you can see it. I have the kids take a piece of paper. I just used literally this, like a little index card, and fold it into 6 sections. No, I don't care if they're perfect. What in art is ever perfect? Like, no, we're not worrying about that. 6 sections any way you need to. And then we go through and you have 10 seconds to draw a basic stick figure. And I literally count down 10 seconds. And the kids, they love it because they're, frantically drawing their little stick figure and 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm done. Next, 10 seconds to draw a figure that is running. Again, we're only talking about stick figures here, nothing complicated. 10 seconds to draw a figure that is sad. Oh, what does that look like? Oh. And then 10 seconds to draw a figure that is comforting the sad ones. And then 10 seconds to draw a figure that is happy. I have to put the no faces because otherwise you just get a big smiley face, and that's not what we're going for. What does the body do when somebody is happy? And then 10 seconds to draw a figure that's doing whatever you want. And then this is where the Air Connect comes in because they're all going to want to show theirs. So you can take that iPad around and show everybody's different, just standing, running. I'm so sad. It's okay, buddy. I'm here. I'm happy. And then this is a position we do in FDK called dead bug. So I drew dead bug. And so, yeah, there's my example. And then we learn a little bit about Giacometti. And this video here is in SafeShare. The reason it's in SafeShare is because at the point where I cut it off, it starts talking about some of his inspiration, which not school appropriate. So I really recommend using that video there and not just going and finding the one on YouTube, because while it shows different Giacometti sculptures, just trust me, use that one.
Right. So it's a YouTube video, but it's the SafeShare in YouTube. Is that?
Yeah, because SafeShare lets you cut the video.
Oh,
So with Safe Share, if I'm like, no, thank you, like you're starting to go into stuff that I don't need a grade 4 class to go into, I'll just cut it in Safe Share. And it also stops any ads. You know, it's not an embedded link. So a lot of the time in slides, I'll try to just put the YouTube video in there. So you do have to click it and it will take you out of it into Safe Share.
but a little bit of effort up front saves you a lot of grief and a lot of like, no.
Especially if you're going to be doing this as like, I'm sharing this with my virtual students as well, right? This way, you know, they're only getting the piece of the video that you want, right? And then we look at the works of Giacometti, which are just so like, they're just so interesting and ethereal. And then we create our sculptures from tinfoil. And this walks you through how to create that tinfoil sculpture. I would say this takes about 2 classes, maybe 3 if you do a lot of talking about the sculptures. But in terms of like material costs and even preparation, if you're talking to older kids, like it's not much at all.
No, I'm surprised there was no pipe cleaners in that one. That's what I was anticipating, but it's
you don't need them because the tinfoil has kind of its own ability to hold the shape. So you can get all kinds of weird, wonky and wacky shapes with literally just, and I don't know about other schools. I find that any school I've ever been at, and maybe it's me, I'm like the pipe cleaner, like repellent, like pipe cleaners are never available at schools that I'm at. I don't know. And I always ask for more, but so the next lesson that uses some different supplies is circular weaving. So
may I pretty please stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
Because as I'm watching your stick figure situation, I'm so excited to do that and link it to dance.
100%.
Because are you going to talk about that?
No, please.
Those are shapes. And if you wanted to go like, well, just thinking back to what was shared about kindergarten with hip hop, like here's shape 1, here's shape 2, shape 1, shape 2.
And it can just be something so simple as changing the arms.
Yes.
Like you could have kids that are reluctant choreographers. You could have them choreograph. Okay, you don't have to do the dance. Cool, man. Like, don't worry about it. Have your
stop motion. What about stop motion photography? Like little video clips all together.
Yeah, exactly. And it is especially like, I find the kids really wanted to make more of these. Like I only let them make one, but they were, and you can have them like sitting on tables and hanging from things and like, and it's a really great one for, accessing those maybe reluctant art students as well too. So next one was circular weaving, and I'm a thief in the night because again, I kind of stole this idea from a person on Instagram, but I give cred later. And for me, it's really, really important that we recognize weaving as an art form. So what we do is kind of go through some examples of different weavings. So this one is to really show the space that a weaving can take up. That second one is only as big as your hand, right? So weavings can be massive things or they can be small. They can have a very simple texture or they can have tons of texture. They can be muted or they can be full of vibrant colors and shapes. They really are magnificent. And so I also wanted to acknowledge some indigenous weaving as well, and the tradition with the Salish people. I really hope I'm saying that right. I think I am. And so what I really thought was neat, once I showed the kids this video, in the video they talk about how weaving protects heart and head. And that was one of the reasons that they wove. And one of the kids later on said, Miss Weibel, I get what they were talking about because I'm weaving and my heart's feeling better. And I was like, yes. And it's that meditative act of like weaving. So we look at a bunch of different examples. This one you can see from the side as well as the front, just to kind of talk about line and space and shape. And incorporating elements that are non-traditional as well. So there's like shells, and this was, I think it was horsehair. That's why I included the source here, because it lists what the items.
You're laughing at yourself, calling you a thief and that sort of thing. But you know, if we get something from like Pinterest, people have put it out there to share with the intent that it's for educators. But I think it is also important for us to think about, are we honoring the artist? Are we in the source? And especially when we're talking about cultural appropriation, pieces, are we pulling out just pieces that we think are like attractive or will serve our purpose, or are we using the whole piece and honoring where it came from? And so I think that's really important part of our knowing the curriculum well, like it will guide us through that. Gretchen Sands-Gamble, which is our Indigenous Special Projects teacher, has done some great work about teaching us more about that. And so there is a blog post on that. We'll include that in our resources about the cultural appropriation. And it's interesting, Alessia, that what she was saying too, is that when we include Indigenous art, often kids think and adults think too that we are looking back in the past at historic pieces, but it's so important to include that contemporary piece.
And I'm going to go into that a little more because it's really super important, not just to me, but to our Canadian society, that we're really, it's that weaving it in piece, like it's modern, it's current, it's now. And this one I also really wanted to incorporate because I've seen a lot of weaving where it talks about kente, which is an African style of weaving, but this is like a modern interpretation by Derek Brackens, who is a queer Black man. And the unicorn is both a symbol of queerness, but also there's a really famous tapestry called the Unicorn Tapestry. You don't have to go into this. You can just have the kids say, what do you notice? And they'll say, it's a unicorn. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Right?
Why is it black? Most of them are like rainbow colored.
Oh, I wonder. What does the word kente mean? Oh, I don't know. Let's look it up. Right? And you can have those conversations. I think, especially with this one, you do want to delve into that as well. I love this one because it's like, it's pretty, but it's not pretty, right? It's called Wake Up. There's lots of textures happening here. So if you're running out of time, you talk about one or two. You make your choices, right? I just like to include a lot of options. A little bit about the parts of the weave. So the warp and the weft. The warp is what you string on your loom. The weft is what goes in between. And a lot of time I do this. I'm like, warp, weft, warp, weft. And they like it.
Yeah.
And so this is what we are creating. These are circular weavings. So on a paper plate, you make little cuts, you paint it, whatever your background is, because here we're talking again about background, foreground, that kind of thing. And then warp it, meaning like create the loom part of it. And my next slide gives you a how-to. That's what I had posted in the classroom for how to create your circular loom. And then get making. And so that's that one. And I did include some of the ones that my students created. This here has a link to it. And it's a link to a many-colored bag of yarn, because I don't know about other places, but you'll get like 12 balls of white yarn. And like there's no yellow. So I love this because it was like $20 and it's got so much yarn in it. I'll be able to use this for a long time. And all I would do, the kids would tell me what color they wanted. Whoop, that's about all they need. Little arm length gets them started. So they don't have to be going through all the yarn. You can do it yourself. They will need multiple balls to create their loom, but a lot of the time you can just tell them, okay, everybody's doing white or black, whatever, and it'll still look great. And then the next one was Niall Mcgizzy Johnson. So Niall Mcgizzy Johnson is an Indigenous artist working out of Toronto. And I found out about Niall Mcgizzy Johnson at a coding conference of all places. But his work was also featured in the AGO's virtual school, which highly recommend. Really, really good content discussions. So this is Niall Mcgizzy Johnson's work. And so we talked about what we saw. We talked about different symbols that were within it, shapes, lines, texture, space. And then we talked about this work as well. And then we created our own Niall Mcgizzy Johnson work. Now, super important, you are not creating art to look like Niall Mcgizzy Johnson's work. You're working with themes and techniques. So this is, again, that appreciation, not appropriation piece. It's symbols that have personal meaning to you in a style that you like, a colorful background, because that is something that is in those works, with white or black over top, and images within images. So we talked quite a lot about how there was a lot of these images within images. And so what we did was we decided on a few images that had some meaning, created our background, and drew images on our background. So you can see I am a big time crafter. Food is family to me. So like that's a representation of like my dad's lasagna. My husband is Indian, so that's a samosa. We always seem to have egg rolls, so that's in there too. So that was my pick. And so then we talked about how to create backgrounds. So washable marker, Crayola will run beautifully. This is a very, like, primary kids use this all the time, but we used it up into intermediate to create ours. And then they had to create an artist statement. So an important thing is getting them used to talking about their work, because artists are constantly having to talk about their work. Where did it come from? Tell me about your process. And then I always remind them, if something didn't work, tell me, because failure is fine. It's okay to fail so long as you keep trying. And so these are some of the examples of students' work, just so you could see them. You can see there's a variety here. Some decided to go digital, whereas some went physical. And it really a large variety, but it's through that conversation of like, what does it mean to you? What's important to you, that we really could connect with the artwork. And
it's interesting, for them to reflect on their own work, but also to reflect on the work of others too, right? Like, but must have been interesting to hear those conversations.
Yeah. Am I over time? Am I like?
I'm giving you a little extra time, but yeah.
Okay. So go to the AGO virtual school. This is a whole lesson plan on Jean-Michel Basquiat. This is better for like primary. There's a thing there. This is my elements of dance. We
can come back to your dance if we have time at the end, because we'll give Lisa time, and then Matt something. If we have time, we can go back and give you all the screen time.
I'm so bad at editing. I just have to, I need to make sure that I show Niall Mcgizzy Johnson has these cards called Learn with Animals, and they are all different animals, and the illustrations are amazing. And he has in there all kinds of ideas about how to use it tied in with the curriculum.
Amazing.
Yes, it's I just had to. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop talking.
No, you're gonna get another time.
Sorry.
It's good. No, it's like this is why you people are here. Good. So good.
Okay.
Hi, Lisa, you're up.
Awesome.
See,
All
you
right.
had to talk to you in the middle of all that and go like, dance.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Am I sharing?
Yes, you are.
This is not my screen, is it?
Lisa Rank has started sharing your screen.
Okay. Where'd my project go? There. Oh, here we go. Okay.
There you go. Seeing it now. It's loading. Creative process.
Yes, as I was saying at the beginning, like drama is my background, and I chose to do some music because I know as a person who is teaching music, who doesn't always feel comfortable with that title of being the music teacher, because I'm not a trained musician. I get intimidated by the curriculum. So I just wanted to share kind of an extensive project that I did and collaborated with the homeroom teachers of our intermediates. And although you'll see a lot of this stuff can be tweaked for probably juniors and intermediates. And there were, again, we all beg, borrow, and steal, and there's teachers pay teachers, and when you find what, like just like what you were saying, when you share that wonderful idea, then that triggers more ideas. So I found this wonderful idea, and it just triggered more ideas, and so I had fun working on this project. Throughout the arts curriculum, the creative process is really important, and it's, there's an outline you'll see in your curriculum book about the steps to the creative process. And I always am trying to focus on process over product, because some people's art and creations will not turn out as other people's, but it's important that if they're going through the creative steps and making edits to their work and all of that, that's what's important. So this first video game project, this was the lowdown. The students invented their own video game concept. It wasn't a playable game, but like a concept for a video game. Then they were creating a sales pitch. That was my drama component. And then for the music component, they designed sound cues for their video game. And then ultimately their job was to convince a group of business executives to produce their game. So first, there's a wonderful, in the interest of time too, like some of these I want to show you, but some of them I'll just skip through. But this is a great video to get kids thinking about video games. And you've probably seen this guy before.
Play. In fact, it's so easy to download a game that it can be tempting to think that video games are easy to make too, but nothing could be further from the truth. Making a video game is a lot of work, and it takes a really long time. Check out this game. It took over 100 people 8 years to create Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Okay, so anyhow, it goes through, oopsie, I want to.
Hi, it's Doug. When I was
slide. There we go. Okay. And so then once they got thinking, I wanted them to appreciate that, you're not going to make a whole video game, but there's so much thought that goes into a video game. And for the music part of it, their job was to create some theme music for their game, as well as sound effects. In order to do that, they have to understand when and how music is used. There we go. Some of you have probably seen this video before. So you get that. when does the music change and why. It explains the music and it explains what's happening in the game. It likes to replay it. Sorry. There. Okay, so there's the game plan. I've attached that with that will be in with the resources.
Yeah. Lisa, I'm still on the Minds On page on the screen. Have you turned pages? Yeah, we heard the music, but I didn't change slides.
I wonder, should I stop sharing and try again?
Yeah, maybe stop sharing and then go back to it.
Okay. Do you see this now?
Yep, so you're sharing your screen there again, so it's coming.
Does it say step 1, develop a game?
Not just yet. It's just taking a minute to load, I think. But it looks like it's a project that over time, and you mentioned being in collaboration with the homeroom teacher.
Yeah, so we linked this with persuasive writing. The language teacher helped them to write their sales pitch, and then we also, you can't see my screen yet?
Not yet. It says Lisa started sharing. So
it says I'm sharing.
Yeah, try it again, Lisa. Stop sharing and then try and share again. Were you sharing screen? Which option is it?
Share screen.
Is there
now like one? It's popping up. Advanced sharing screen. So I'm clicking on the video game project, or is it? Maybe let me try and do it this way. That's a different.
There you are. I see it now.
Oh, you see it now. Okay. So sorry.
That's perfect.
Okay, good. So this video is amazing.
Sound is easy to take for granted in a game, but it plays a critical role in every game experience. I mean, even a simple sound can set the entire mood of a scene. Take, for instance, the sound of a door opening. The mood can be changed so it sounds happy, or sad, or terrifying.
And then this gets really, really, it goes into a lot of detail of the science of it.
We like to break it.
And we won't go over that, but it's a great video. And now, as far as building the sound cues, there's so many options. And, you know, you can use GarageBand where they're, you know, playing with loops to create their own music. But given that when I started this project, we were doing virtual, not everybody had access to the same resources. So I tried to encourage them to do a medley of all of the above so they could find some of their sound effects through the royalty-free sound effects that they see on YouTube, or we also use found sounds. And so in case anyone doesn't know, found sounds are like, you know, just whatever you might find to create the sound that you're going for. If they happen to be a piano player and they wanted to write their own piece, lovely. And then also just experimenting with vocal sounds, which is great for kids who need modifications to their work, accommodations and such. So, you know, like, and this is the ding for the when you collect the money, and this is the they could do all the sounds with their voice. My Down syndrome kid did it that way, and he had so much fun. But I'd encourage a medley of the above. So all of these steps are here. I just wanted to show you some of the cool things they came up with. So as you can see, we also did a big visual arts component to it as well. They spent a lot of time. They drew their characters. And this girl did amazing too. I won't show you all of these, but the student, like, it's kind of most of the students have never done anything like this with the technical side of it as well. And so I'm very happy that we've gone through this process. I know that teaching this next time with some examples is going to make it easier. And I can't figure out when I hit the next slide why it always tries to, anyhow. Okay, and then this one, she did it as a digital interpretation for the sound effects. And once again, stop. Next slide. So there's stuff about the sales pitch and there's examples of all of that in there. And let's see. Oops. Can you see me flipping this here? Does that little menu come up? It's not letting me slip to my next screen. I don't know why.
It looks like it might be on the last slide.
It's not though.
Next to slide 13, can you hit that pull down menu there?
Say it again. Where is it?
If you tap on the screen next to the word slide 13, that little down arrow,
Yes.
does it give you access? See how it shows there's no further slides?
There's more. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and see if I can, because I don't know why that happened. Let me see. So sorry.
While you're doing that, Lisa, it seems like the kids will have a lot of, have the opportunity for their own personality to shine through it.
Mm-hmm.
They can all still collaborate on like the emotion side of things,
Mm-hmm.
or the creation side, the found side, found sound kind of piece.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I think we're going to try this again here. This is what I'm confused about, why it's showing up twice, but there. Can you see my screen?
It says Lisa Rank has started sharing screen, but nothing on it's still black.
Really? I can't explain it because I'm hitting the share screen and that's so disappointing.
Was it the web? It was the web browser that you had this slide shared, like as a.
Yes, like right now I'm in my Google slide. Like I went to the Google Slides. I'm within my Google Drive. I'm not sure why it's not sharing from here.
Okay, try stop sharing again. Can we, do you have the option to load your browser, just to load Chrome or whatever browser you're using?
I was using Chrome. Should I switch to a different one?
If you just open Chrome and maybe open the file from within Chrome, that might be the easiest way.
Yeah, that's what I did. I went back into slides. Share screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like right here, it's saying Google on my options. It's showing Google Chrome Music Workshop. It's showing up twice, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
and I've tried both.
One of the ones that says Google Chrome is working. I'm not sure.
So that it's just not showing the whole thing. So you know what? 1 second. I'm gonna see if Safari likes me better today.
Yeah.
Lisa, do you want to send it to me and I can share it on your behalf and you can talk to it?
Yes, I can do that.
This is relatable content, Lisa.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Here. This is relatable content.
And it's worth the wait. There's great stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's making, while you were getting that figured out, it's making me think about the soundscape that was in the music session last time. She talked about that.
Okay, Safari.
Yeah.
Share.
And I know that was something. There we go.
Okie dokie.
Safari for the win.
Yes. Okay. So hopefully all these are here. Okay. So there's like, I put all this stuff in here to help with, you know, if you're going to do this project. There's like a tutorial to help them with their video editing. I love how he like got all in character for his sales pitch.
Same old games from itch.io or Epic Games, and you want a little scare, then come by my game now. It's called Among the Forest. It's the best name for a scary game that will take you on a ride through your darkest feelings of fear.
So when we were rehearsing for these sales pitches, I tried to make sure that they're realize that they're playing a role of someone else, which kind of helped them to step outside their comfort level. And I don't know, I just wanted to show you this one too, because it just, like, he is not an expert techie, but I was so impressed with the way he figured out for his own self using Pit Collage, and you can hear his family in the background and stuff, but like he spent so much time, he figured out how to do the pop-up text and all of that. I don't want you to think they're all like super duper beautiful, but
you're staying true to the process is the most important thing.
Exactly. Okay, so now, and then I'm just going to show you another unit that I worked on. And this is from that same lady who had a wonderful idea, music in the movies. So we went through and learned about, mostly a big chunk of it was learning about Foley, which is making sound. Well, let's go through it. Why is sound important in movies? How would it change your movie watching experience if the sound was muted? It would be very boring. And so I took a scene from something that they probably will recognize and show it all boring like, and then we changed the music. And, sorry. And then there's another example in case you want to share with your students for the same sort of deal with Lion King. What are the different types of sounds that you hear in the movies? You hear the music, the theme music, the sound effects, the dialogue. And then we talked about the different jobs that deal with sound in movies. There's all kinds of them. We listened to a few composers of movies and got some female composers in there as well. And this is really cool.
People are often puzzled that this isn't all done by computer. In order to get the right feel of a character, you need to really know how they're feeling.
Everything that I create on the stage is organic, using props and recorded precisely for.
Okay, so it goes through, there's some great examples of all kinds of interesting creativity with found sounds to create different sound effects. So then, oopsie, their task is now to watch this silent movie. And I put this clip into Google Drive for them so that they could have it, because they started, again, they had to start this at home with virtual learning. So this is just a silent clip, and then they were going to add the sounds to it.
The note you had there for 10 seconds was time, like sound effect length. Is that important?
Where do you say
10 sound effects? Okay, I thought it said 10 seconds. Yeah.
I want to make sure they have at least 10 sound effects, and most kids way more than that.
Okay.
So we went through, made a list of things that would probably work. Now, this is the one thing I wanted to say is that while I did this with idea number one, make a video recording of their work, and it worked great, and we got some great stuff, but you could also do this, and this is what I will do next time. Hopefully we are not, in our basement on our couch teaching. I would much rather make this like a live performance where they can gather things, things they might find outside on the playground and at school, and where in a group they could organize the sound cues and practice the timing of the sound cues and all of that. But I did just want to show you.
Lisa, I love how that ties it. Sorry. I love how that ties into what they were talking about in the OMEA workshop the other day about, how are you going to write it out in terms of notation? Yeah. I think that would work beautifully with that to hit that music notation piece on top of
yeah.
Love it.
Cool. So So that was like vocal sound. So they found some computer sounds and they did some by themselves. And then repeat the theme music and all of that. So I was really, I really enjoyed watching these. I thought it was so interesting to like laugh at different parts for different kids with their, like there's certain kids that would spend extra time on their timing. Knowing I want to do this later, I've also just included a few slides that that would help keeping them on track. You know, one aspect of it would be the Foley part of it, and then the next part of it is the focus more on like trying to create some theme music that could go along with that. So there you have that. And then I was going to show you one more thing here. Now I have to switch to, is it going to let me switch to a different, can you see?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. We'll see.
Can you see this? Fun with Composers, is that showing up for you?
No, it's like kind of got a big sweep on your screen.
Okay, I'm going to stop the share and go back in because I had it queued up in Chrome, and hopefully Chrome will be nice to me this time.
Yes, this time.
Share.
You guys have all been so great in showing us what's been happening in your classroom. I do want to share with the audience that we will be sharing these resources, and this is what we're talking about, like when all the things that Lisa's there, the examples, just to understand what it's going about. So thank you so much for your generosity, Alice, and Lisa, and Alicia. It's been so great.
So can you see this now? Fun with Composers?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so this is a wonderful resource. It was $50 to get this resource, but it's all online. But if you want to try it out with some of your younger students, there is this particular lesson, the Marriage of Figaro. Oh, actually, this Marriage of Figaro lesson they have for free. I don't know why it says network error, but basically it takes a classical piece of music, and then this wonderful lady, where's her name? I can't think of it right off the top of my bat. She's created these stories that accompany the music. So you may have heard that that's the Marriage of Figaro. So there's this whole story about this chef, and then you take the seasonings and you're and you're pouring in the seasonings and stir it up. And so then you're talking about tempo, legato, and presto, and it's just a great way that they can really connect to the music. And so we turn this music activity into learning about music vocabulary, also appreciating this classical music. And also then I always seem to just like let the kids take the lead on the story, and it always seems to develop into like the part 2 that I didn't anticipate. When we just did this Tritch Trotch Polka, it's about these animals that there's a young girl that can speak to the animals and communicate with the animals. Well, it turned into this big thing where the animals are gonna go to the fair and perform and it's going to be a talent show contest from farm against farm. So all the sheep got together and they created their little sheep dance, and then the ducks had some waddles and the horses had their gallops, and we spent time like going through the whole act, and then it was wonderful. As Alicia was saying, I really like it when we can put everything all together, collaborate with the drama and the music and the art. So then they did some circus art. One of the things I saw those foils, a nice next step would be for them to take with this, they could take those foil creations and turn them into trapeze artists, like in doing tricks or something. So that would be nice. So this is very good. And then the one other thing that I don't have now, I'm going to stop my screen again and try to do this again. Hold on one second, because I want to make sure this will work.
So Lisa, just I have that one, and I also have the one that's for the older grades as well. And there's actually a song called Johnny and the Ringmaster. Can't catch me, Mr. Ringmaster. Leg up high, leg up high.
Okay, that one's in there too.
Oh, that one's in there. Okay. I
That's
get confused about the books, but that one would be a really good one for what you're talking about by turning our little foil guys into trapeze artists, because
you know what? I probably just like mixed that step up in my brain, because I kind of put them all to those two pieces of music together, and with the circus tricks and all of that. Yeah.
Oh.
They work together. The kids then created this amazing mural on the chalkboards. So when I needed them for different steps, or they're showing me this part when they weren't busy or they got something done, they just kept adding and building to this whole mural on both sides of my room, and it was really fun.
Amazing. I want to steal the idea from that kid that had the bamboo stick. Your puppets in that soundscape piece that you're working on. If you have the bamboo, you can have them moving around.
Yeah.
Well, and that, like, they're so good for like the physical distancing piece too, like especially that piece, because like the ringmaster is supposed to shake it and the other guy is like, oh, I'm gonna fall off, and the whole dance can be done 6 feet away from each other, and it really works.
It
Like,
does. They loved it. Yeah. Now it's not showing, like I have an iMovie thing that I wanted. Oh, there it is. Okay. Share. So the last little thing I just wanted to go over is Matt and I and a couple of other people, we worked on this resource for that's in, well, it's all about using the elements of music with an iPad and going through, there's an iBook that we created that can be shared. So I'll have that there. But a lot, again, being the non-musician who is teaching music, I try to do a lot of stuff with more of the elements of music. And then some of that stuff, though, even when you're looking in the curriculum document, can be confusing. I'm just going to show you this quick little video that we put together to just kind of throw all of the elements of music so you can see how they work. This is just like a minute and a half. Is that all right? I'm gonna show this.
Perfect. Yep.
Except, hold on, it's not letting me, there. Big screen. Okay. Like when you look at the curriculum and you're like, duration, what the heck is that? It's this, it's timing. So once you got the beat, you can add the rhythm. So I'll share this with you all. Just, you know, this could be shared with your students, or if nothing else, just to help you feel more confident with the music curriculum. And then I'm just kind of going through, I'm almost finished with this video that I want to put in here, but I've got some going over some of more particulars of standard notation and talking about notes and why the whole note is called a whole note, because it takes up the whole measure of music. And when the students can start to make some of those connections, like this is I just thought maybe this would be helpful for teachers. And then I've got some rhythm activities that can be done with the notes once the kids know all of the notes and the note values and all of that.
Amazing. It's like its own little interactive textbook almost.
That's us.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will be helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I've got for right now.
That's amazing. It's interesting how you've blended a lot of technology into the things that you've done.
I do love, I love a good iMovie project.
There you go. That's good. But so you've worked with Matt that's with us today to create some things?
Yeah. So like, I bet you, I'm wondering if Matt's going to talk about some of the other things that we ended up putting in that book. And I did say before you were here, Matt, I went on there again today to try to open up that book. And for some reason it wasn't letting me, which is why I was trying to piece it back together again.
It's there because I just downloaded it like a couple of weeks ago. But the iBook store isn't the iBook store anymore. It's called like Books or something. Like they've rebranded it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it might be an app issue or something like that.
Good.
Definitely there.
There we go. Solution. So welcome, Matt.
Thank you.
So Matt, I reached out to him because he's the man I keep seeing. He's got taken us places virtually lately. So I said, hey, maybe you can take it to an art gallery.
Yeah. So really quick, like I know we've only got 5 minutes, but
you can take more time. Take it.
I won't be that long. So a little bit about me for those who don't know. I taught grades 6, 7, 8 for like 12 years before. Now I'm the experiential learning coordinator. It's a ministry portfolio. It's K to 12. So I support the whole board for all the things experiential learning, and outdoor education's part of my portfolio now too. And the things I'm sharing today are, I hope, very, very, very helpful and not a lotot of work. Why is it saying I can't share?
Oh, Rod might have to give you permission.
Let me just make sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why?
You should be able to.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. It's because I'm on my MacBook and it doesn't want to let me.
I have your stuff if you need to.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing here. Give me 1 second. Come on. All right. Quit and reopen. No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Let me try now. Come on, you there, maybe? Yes. Okay.
There you go.
Awesome.
I see you now.
Awesome. So again, as I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by my own computer, my hope is today is a lot of like just plug and play. We're all super busy right now and there's lots to go. And my hope is that I'm just sharing things that you can go, yes, I can use that tomorrow. So three kind of resources that might be helpful as far as the arts goes. This is a resource I've been sharing across the province for a few months now. I looked last night, actually, there's almost 4,000 hits on it in the last month, which is super cool. To be honest with you, we have a lot of people from around the province, which is super cool because I'm not trying to do anything fancy here. I'm just trying to share some good resources. So if you see on the side here, there's a QR code. If you're curious, the bit.ly's up top here, but I'll also share this stuff obviously with the group. And when it all gets shared out, Pam, we can share the link or whatever, but it's bit.ly/vert experiences. And I'm going to hop into open link. I hope that you can see my browser.
Yep.
Awesome. So this is what I've done is I've collated all of the live virtual free sessions for teachers that I can come across from these websites. The one thing that got me thinking, Pam and I, when we chatted, she said, well, what about a teacher who doesn't have the class at the time? Since we've talked, I did look into it, and most or all of these websites collect all of these sessions as recordings and post them on their websites. So,
right, so this week there's all those live sessions going on at like the art gallery, the zoo, all of those things, but then they're being saved. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And so if you go on the AGO website, or if you go on some of these websites like the Smithsonian and you're looking for a particular session that ran, let's say yesterday, most of these sites on the side here have them. So a couple of interesting ones here. Every single week, the AGO, as Alicia mentioned earlier, runs a bunch, one on Indigenous, typically either one in French language or in Black history and the arts. So there's some really good stuff here, and I post them every 2 weeks in advance so that people can sign up as they go. Across the bottom here is a variety of different things, and I know today is about the arts, but I just thought I'd really quickly mention it. These are all so these are asynchronous sessions. So these are things that are not live. They're just, some of them are YouTube videos, some of them are VR or 360 tours. French language, I've got some for science, and you can see a variety of topics down the side. Arts and culture. So these would be, a lot of these are 360 films. So for example, you can sit in the symphony or in the, what's the word for that, where they play? Help me out.
Orchestra pit, orchestra pit.
Yeah. And so you sit in there and it's a 360. So if you had your phone or if you had an iPad, you can spin around and see everyone playing around you and hear the music, which is super cool. And then, so I just wanted to share that. So that's just the first one. So again, that's just bit.ly/vert experiences. The second one I wanted to share is, this is a reflective resource that we've built. A colleague of mine at St. Clair Catholic and mine, Chris St. Amon, and I built this resource. It's been going for a few years now and gets some pretty decent foot traffic too. So across the bottom is all our resources. So these are reflection strategies that you could use in the classroom. So these are not necessarily lessons, but strategies that could be used for anything. And they're all kind of created in the same vein, and that they have the same at a glance, time, equipment, facilitator instructions, etc. Sorry.
Which is so good to help kids get talking and have discourse around a piece of art or performance, that sort of thing. Like, we have to teach them how to do that. So I can see lots of these things helping out with that.
So these are just getting to know you for face-to-face activities. These are getting to know you for virtual. And then I just wanted to, because we're speaking on arts, there are some things, these are just websites that could be useful for particular subjects. And there is I'm sad in that there's only one here. And then there is one that's reflection on the curriculum, and these are reflection questions based on subject, and these are based on grade. So these are slide decks, and if you wanted to just get kids talking about dance and the arts, what we've done is we've taken the curriculum document and then framed a lot of them are just taken from the italicized questions that we often ignore as educators and thrown them into a deck. So that's the second one. And I can share that link as well. It's bit.ly/reflection strategies.
Okay.
And we can pop in the chat or whatever. And then my last thing I wanted to share is I worked with, the JNAG did most of the work. I just supported, and we're working on four separate units. Judith and Norman Alex Art Gallery in Sarnia are fabulous, and the teachers, the curator and the staff there are amazing. And so what they've done is they've created us a unit. So it was actually I think the title originally was LKDSB plus JNAG art making or something like that. So in this is some amazing stuff. So this is the whole teacher package they created for us. It's 9 pages. But what I wanted was, so I just created a really quick kind of overview. So there are lessons, and in each of them, there's a video and a handout. And then in this case, there's reflection questions as well, video, handout, and it walks students through what to do. So, and the beauty of this first unit, there's the second and third unit, I think one's on clay, and one is something else. I can't remember off the top of my head. Watercolor techniques. But in the case of this one, really, a teacher could plug and play this right now. All you would need is potentially a magazine, a piece of paper, and some coloring pencils. And so, in this case, this is just Anna from there teaching how to do whatever it is. Doesn't want to stop.
Hi everyone. Extra.
Whatever. So these are all short videos, 4 or 5 minutes. And then the beauty of this all is there's the current gallery right now. They've done this most amazing thing for us where I don't know if you can see my screen or not.
Yes, we can see that. Yeah.
So this is the current exhibit. And what they've done is they've brought in people, and each of these dots, we can zoom in on them, and we can learn, and there's a write-up on each one. In this particular case, part of that teacher package is, this is actually created by 3 different artists together. And we can watch them make the entire film, or make the entire wall of art together, the 3 artists, over 8 minutes. It's pretty awesome to see it come together. The other piece I really love, and I think it's an maybe underappreciated in many cases, is the there's a really cool interview with the 3 artists just talking here. And then there's a culminating task here, which is lesson 5. And I think the other one that I think is really cool, I don't do enough as an art teacher. I didn't do enough guided viewing. And there's a really cool guided viewing experience where Anna from the gallery walks students through asking questions of an art piece and exploring kind of their own thinking and how they interpret the art piece themselves. So
amazing.
Yeah, so there's just, so that is, I mean, you could literally take that and that could be the next month or 3 weeks of your art program if you wanted to. So that's I think it for me. I guess.
Awesome. Well, just thinking like the things all 4 of you have shared are so individualized, unique. I'm hoping our audience can at least found one thing that they've like, I can do that. I can go and see that. It's been such a great experience learning here. You're lots of creative people out there. So thank you for bringing art to our teachers out there and eventually to our students. So any
in awe the whole time, Pam. It was great. And just the passion everybody has.
I know,
and the excitement
exactly.
for it. It's awesome. So good.
So Allison, you went first. Thanks so much for kicking us off. Any last words before we sign off today?
No, but thank you very much, Pam, for putting this all together. It's been a wonderful opportunity. It was great, those workshops last week. And I also do a virtual music club at my school. So if anyone's interested in how that works, reach out to me. It's allison.miller@lkdsb.com or .net. So.
Yeah, so we'll share everyone's contact information with our resources, and it will be all in the blog in a couple of days. We've got lots to share. So again, I think it's something that's going to be revisited over and over and over again as we change grades. Alicia, anything? You did such a lovely job showing your passion. Rod was texting me saying like, energy, woo!
Yeah, I'm not lacking.
So good. Yeah. So I know we cut you off. Anything last that you just got to say?
No, I am going to share the elements of dance. So it's like a 3-part little unit where it kind of goes through elements of dance using like cultural examples from around the world, as well as like different bodies, which is really important. So
I feel like we're part of like a Broadway hit, like it's a runaway show. How do we just have one show? Maybe we have to be invited back. So keep that in mind. And Lisa, like you are a planner, like the gift that you're giving everybody there, breaking it all down into seeing how it possibly can be done. So excited to see that. So
I just put on here, I just put in the chat this amazing drama and dance resource. And I think it may, so like OMIA, if anyone attended or checked out the OMIA workshops, this is for drama and dance. There's a few lessons that are free and sometimes you have to be a member, but the one called In or Out is about inclusion and exclusion. And it is a dynamite unit that talks about balance of power and then how you can use that with drama and tableau and dance. And then there's another one called African Hip Hop that is so fun that I'm gonna put that in the chat as well. Those are the 2 that I just really, I go back to.
And it's nice, like I know we had to pay, but it's nice to actually get a sample and see if this is the resource that speaks to me, like I can handle the content myself as a teacher, and so give it a try. That's so great. Thank you all so much. I'm just like so excited, buzzing.
Pam,
myself.
Can I pop in real quick? I forgot to say something. Alicia, your example of Air Connect, something that teachers could try if they didn't have Air Connect like tomorrow. You could create a Google Meet, put it on your screen, join on your phone and just
Yep.
walk around the room and be.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
You could also do it
Yeah.
with your iPad if you didn't want to use like personal technology,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So use your school iPad, create a Google. So true.
I was
So-
wondering that because I don't have a smart board. I'm wondering with my MacBook and because I just have a projector. So
Yep.
that Google Meets thing would totally work. I love
It's
that.
this Air Connect will work with just a projector as well.
Oh, it will. Okay.
Sorry. Oh yeah, totally will. Yeah, it will. You can't control the iPad through the smart board. All your touching happens here. So with Air Connect, you walk around with the iPad and the kids can do, like I use this really cool music app called Sound Rebound all the time. And it's really fun. And it's like, and the kids do things on Sound Rebound and it's up on the smart board, but anybody touches the smart board, it's not going to do anything to the Sound Rebound.
I love it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So Rod, thanks for your tech advice here this time.
Well, people individually manage their little issues, but the
Yeah.
thing that strikes me is that all of these things, everyone had ideas about how to connect the idea to other people's ideas. And it's through this kind of sharing that other people are going to take these ideas and even go farther than you can imagine. So I just want to encourage you to continue the sharing. That's where all the good stuff
And
happens.
I hope people share those further continuations with us.
Exactly.
Like I want to
You guys-
hear
all
it.
you need is a place a way to share it.
Mhm.
It's get on Twitter if you're curious. There's lots of people sharing stuff like this. Just use the right hashtag and you'll find it. I have one question before you leave. Allison, there was some video of some students in there. Should I be clipping that out of this recording, or do they have permission to appear in a YouTube video?
They have permission for this presentation. I didn't say YouTube. I said I would be sharing it with educators.
Okay. So I'll try and blur that section out when I post it, but we'll still hear it and know something's going on.
I have some other videos that I blurred a bit that has the whole class.
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
if it's a matter of those ones were better videos.
I
really.
like the treatment. They were sort of different colored, eh? There was a filter on there. Yeah, it looked pretty neat. I like that.
Lisa, you had some students there too in your.
And their parents are all okay with it, especially because they, to share their work, they uploaded those performances to YouTube themselves also.
Okay.
And have shared, but all of their parents have given permission for them to be shared. So
awesome. Well, I'm gonna be sad to say goodbye to this little crew, but I know where all of you work. So I'll be reaching out. That's it. But thank you for people, and Angela, thanks for joining us today. And we'll have lots to talk about tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was a quiet night in the chat because there was so much chat with the without the chat box. So it was great. It was great. Good learning.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Night, everybody.
See you all later.
Bye.
Good night.